Alrighty, looks like we're going live after a delayed camera problem, but I had it solved, so don't worry. Can you all hear me? Good? So, now we're going to draw. So, I already have a basic sketch for this Charizard, and step one is to ink it.
Testing, testing, 1 2 1 2. What I can see, everything looks good. So, to start off, I have two pens. One is a regular Sharpie and one is a Micron fine liner. The Micron fine liner is very fine and we are barely going to be using it. But we're going to be using the Sharpie for mainly everything. So, you might be wondering, oh, you already drew the Charizard, why not just go color it? Because this is the sketch and I like black. And the sketch is gray. That is the reason and I'm going to stick to it. With that being said, I'm just going to start drawing. Trying my best to make the lines straight as I can and as pretty as I can make them. And this is why I took time prior to clean up my sketch, make sure that I could read it, understand what I was looking at, and see what I needed to do and what I didn't need to do. And you know what I forgot to do? This page is going to bleed through. Let me get something behind it so that it doesn't bleed through onto my next page of my sketchbook. I don't want to do that. These note cards should help with that for the most part. I'll add another one because they're very thick. Boop. That should work, I hope. Okie dokie, back to drawing. So this right here is his wing, as we can see. A little bit thicker. His neck, his arm, comes down. His fingers, he got his claws, because he's a dragon who breathes fire, very fierce. And then we have his stomach, which comes from over here. Then we have his leg, sticks out with his toe. Another swoop. We do this. I want to kind of separate his foot from his. Don't know if you can call these toenails, but I'm just going to refer to them as claws, because that's what they are. It's one leg. Now we have another leg. So I'm going to draw the arm. And I'm going to try not to smudge this. They say that these Sharpies are fast drying, but I'm not so sure about all that. I'm going to go down. Now he has another claw. Add a few more lines here. Then we're going to do this part. This is part of his arm. These are some extra details, but we're going to do that with the fine liner. From here, we're going to continue by drawing the leg, the other side of the leg, and these claws. I'm going to draw the feet first and then kind of draw the claws around them because I do want them to stick out a little bit more. There we go. Looks good. Now, let me think about what I want to do first. Draw in his stomach. Run away from my responsibilities of doing his face and just do his stomach. And then we can continue down to, we're going to do this wing. This is one horn, so another horn. We will add in this. Don't know if you can call these horns. Maybe they're ears. Maybe he can hear through them. Maybe he can't. I have no idea. I want a Matt Pep film theory on that. I wonder, are these his ears? And if not, where are his ears? I need answers. Oh, I overshot that line a little bit. I can fix that. Boop. And then his head, I'm going to go in with the micron just to make it a little bit thinner because his head is relatively small compared to his wings or his legs. And this is one nice straight line. I want this to be a nice thick line, so I'm going to fill it in just a little bit more. Because there's less light over here. Then we have this swoop out, whoop, another swoop, back in, and we have these lines, but I'll do that with the thinner marker. That sticks out. This comes down, meets up about right here. Then we have the inner line, which will be a little bit thinner than the outside line. And then it comes around like that. See right here again, goes through this part of him. Boop. Now let me look a little bit harder. So if this is this thick, then so should this be just a little bit thicker. Then I don't want to make the inside line too, well I can because there should be shade on this side, so I'll make this line darker. And then I want the outside of his wings to remain relatively thin, which in comparison means that this should be darker. Then this side, we will go down, nice and slow. Boop. And this line too will be just a little bit thicker. So will this line to compensate. This connects. I did not finish off his arm all the way. Much better. So we have the wing line. So we have this. A little bit more right here. That's where they come out. Then this should also be, I mean it doesn't have to be, but I want it to be thicker. Hopefully I don't bleed through too much the next page. Now we have this side, so I want that to dry. The face, the tail. What are we going to do first? So we're going to do this side of the wing first. I'm going to go come out to the wing, come out to the other side, out again, boop, connect that. And then, just like this side, I think I made this side a little bit too thick, but that's okay. It's permanent marker, so I can't take it back. We're going to go down. Then we're going to go down again because I want to make this side thick just to kind of make it a little bit even at the very least. Like this. Whoop. Go down again so that that looks even. And then this side should be lighter because this is a light source. This is his fire, so we're going to have more shadow on this side naturally. I'm still going to make it thicker, just not as thick as the other side. Just very little. Just enough to make it stand out to the human eye. And then I need to be careful not to add too much to the page so I don't bleed through, but for the most part this seems fine. There we go. And then we have there'll be wing details. Something like that. Then he has a tail. So this part of the tail is fire. I'm going to do that with a thinner marker. But from here, we go like this. We do it again. This is where it kind of cuts off because I didn't have any more paper. And then we go back down. This is the line of his stomach. And this would be the fire. So we can kind of add some of the fire so we can just get the basic shape. But the rest of it will kind of have to display through the colors that we are going to add later. So from here, I gotta do the face, which looks like fun. So, I have a fine liner, a very tiny one. And you might be wondering, why didn't you use this fine liner for everything else? Well, I have done full drawings with this tiny little bitty fine liner, but what you will notice is it's very small, and I like certain things to be very thick. And let's just say that that takes hours, and, I have a Sharpie, so I might as well just be a little bit efficient with my time. So I'm going to go out, tooth, yes, another tooth, smile right there we see, the other side of the jaw, come around, here's another thing, one more, and then from here we can see his tongue, somewhere around here, going like that, something like that. And then we have the front jaw. We have the little bitty details that we're going to add. So this is just a crease, the skin. There should be a little bit of shading right. Well, there shouldn't be. Why am I saying that there should be? I want there to be shading right here. You could do this however you wanted to, but this is just how I'm going to do it today. A little bit of shading here. A little bit more right here, because this is a light source and we're just going to act like there's one up here. So there should be just a little bit of, should just be a little bit darker down here. And we're going to use the black to signify that. And then we have where his legs meet up. Here, he has a muscle. We're going to add another one over here. Because just to show that his leg is in fact a three-dimensional object and he's not just a flat character. Even though he may look like that now. And we have his eye. This is really where the fine liner comes in handy, just drawing his tiny eye and his tiny pupil. Then we have a nose. And that's about it for the outline of Charizard. Let me look, make sure I didn't forget anything before I erase my sketch. And then I'm going to make this line. I could do that with the Sharpie very carefully. Make it slightly darker, because that's what I want from it. So, we're going to go like, oh wow, my hand is shaking. Let's go like this. It's a very, I think that works. And then on this side of the jaw too, because this just feels right. And this is the inside of his mouth, so we'll color that in a little bit. And then we'll let his tongue be a nice pink. And being very careful to leave the teeth white, because I want them to be nice shiny teeth. And that looks like that works well. So from here we can do the fun stuff. I can start coloring him in, but first I'm going to erase the pencil that's underneath. Oh wow. And I'm just going to hope that this dried for the most part. For the most part, it shouldn't smudge if I've given this ample time to dry. So I think I'll do the face last, but the legs are something that I did first, so I can erase them first. Nice and carefully. Do this. His tail. And now that you might be looking at him, you might say either he looks flat and or you see the thick lines and you say, oh wow, he is a three-dimensional character. Either way, he's on my paper, so we still get to color him in. There's the wing. Hopefully I don't smudge the face. Woo! It's always the scariest thing, is worrying that you're going to smudge it. Smudge the pencil after you've drawn, and then once you do that, you're like, no, it was perfect. It was as perfect as I could have made it, and then I smudged it. That looks odd. But don't worry, that's why we have colors. Let me grab them. Okay, so I have pencils, and I planned ahead. So, if you ever see one of these, this is called a swatch sheet. And what you do is you draw with every single one of your pencils so that you know what they look like beforehand. I did this years ago. I've never used it. And I said, you know what? It's about time I use my planning. Because that planning took a lot of time. And then at the time, these pencils did not have any numbers on them. So I had to go through and I had to add them on the back. And let's just say that was a fun time trying to do that with the Sharpie that was way too thick for the job. Okay, so now let me look at him. Let me think about what colors we need. We will need orange. I'm looking at this very carefully. This is 22, so this is like a red-orange. This is number 7 right here, so that looks about right. Number 19 looks nice and orange. And then he also has wings, so I'll have to do that too. Let me look at these. So it looks like numbers 85, because his wings are like a very dark blue-green almost. I don't know if you call it aqua because of how dark it is, but it's almost there. So I'm thinking 85 or 92. We might use them together. And then this looks like a cool gray-green 94. So those look like the things to be using. So, what is 93? That does not look right. This is 93. Find 94. So, 95. What does 95 look like? 90. This is 95. Okay, 95 works. It's like a blue-brown. Not a blue-brown, a blue-gray, but that should work. Handy dandy. 81, 96. I really wish I would have kept these in sight order, but you know, whenever you share stuff, it's hard to keep up with it. Oh well. 92, 98, 9, 90, 75. What does 75 look like? Oh yeah, 75 is way off. Oh, we could throw it in there. We can use it too. Why not? Okay, this is a blue. I need a green. 79. It's not the color I need. What's this one? 87. Getting very close. I hope. That's a blue. 77. 96. What does 96 look like? Okay, sweet. So this is that gray we were talking about. And then this is 76. What does 76 look like? 76 is very blue. Very blue. 86, 89. 86, 89. I need 84. I need 85, 92. 85 and 92. This is 87. It's like I'm so close but so far. I swear one day I will organize my pencils better. 85. I found it. Okay, 85, and that should do it. Boop. So now that we have our colors, we can color. I'm going to start off with using markers, water-based markers, so that they don't smudge the alcohol that is on the paper. Because if you did not know, Sharpies have alcohol in them. Except for these are water-based. These are an exception. So I need orange and green. Orange. What kind of a green is this? It's more of a blue-green. Is that the vibe I'm going for? Let me try the green-green. See what this looks like. I think I'll use the blue-green. So orange, blue-green, then this is cream yellow, too yellow. I cannot use that cream yellow. And then we'll use a little bit of gray for the darker areas of him. So I'm going to start off with orange, because that covers the majority of his body. And go down and just color it in. Just fill in the whole spot with orange. His arm is orange. And this is not going to be the final, how do they say it? The end-all be-all of our coloring here today. This is just like a basic layer of color so that I can see, okay, this is where I need to add the highlights, this is where I need to add the values. It's very easy. It's much easier to work from base, and then you just add the light and then the dark. It's just, at least it's easier for me. I hear some people do it from dark to light or light to dark, but I work inside the middle and say, what else do I need to add? I hear that that's how you're supposed to digital paint, but I don't know how to do that. Oh no, I think it's smudging something. Oh, maybe it is. Oh no! So his stomach is not orange, his stomach is cream yellow, I believe. So that's what we're going to use. Use his other hand. Forgot about his other claw right there. He only has two hands right there. It'll be okay. This goes up, down, and around. We can fill that in. It's evenly. It's very patchy, but it'll be okay. This is just a base. So this can be the patchiest thing. Oh wait, that is not supposed to be orange. It's supposed to be. I can fix it. Fix it with pencils. Just put wax on top of it. It'll be fine. This is supposed to be yellow. Not yellow, orange. Oh my goodness. So I have orange here. And the yellow there, but let's just not talk about that. And then his underbelly is yellow. His wings are green. And his fire is the color of fire. So we're going to add a little bit of orange in here to the mix. Just where I think it should be, canonically. And then I am going to use this yellow after all. Just to add where the yellow, which is going to take up the majority of it, I believe. Oh, now it's smudging. Be all this of that fire, then a little bit of red, because sometimes fire, I mean, I don't see red inside fire, but that's how people draw it sometimes, and it kind of looks cool. And hopefully that looks more like fire than it did prior to, although I think fire's a little bit more pointy. Bit rounder, maybe. Boop. Hopefully that helps. Now we add in the green of his wings. This light blue-green, but we'll end up making them a lot darker. Just carefully filling in the whole area. Try not to get too much on this part of it. And now we fill in the other wing. And hopefully he's starting to look more like a Charizard. And if not a Charizard, more like a pocket monster, which is what he is. Boop. Gotta fill this in all the way. Then this is also part of that wing. And that looks like it works. Well, it's a little bit more white here. We can add. And then from here, what you're going to do is we're going to add the yellow to his stomach. So, it's very orange. I did not pick out a yellow, did I? Oh, wow. Well, we will use a mixture of two colors. I'm going to use yellow and cream, and hopefully it gives us the right blend. This is darker, but that's not okay. Oh, well. This should be yellow. And this should also be yellow, but it's cream. You know what I could do? If shouldn't be yellow, it's like a very creamed yellow, but if I do this, I don't know what I'm supposed to do about the orange I put, because that was not supposed to be orange. I will improvise, and I will make it darker there. Just act like the shadow is very shadowy. Because this would be the highlight of it right here on this side. Here and all here, he should be lighter, I believe. This part. mix it in, soften up that yellow, that really yellow, and then hopefully transition more to this orange that we have over here. Trying to get to blend out a little bit. Just a little bit. And then, what color was it? I think this is the orange to be. This would also be the orange to be inside the fire, but I'm just going to make it darker right here. Give him a little bit of depth, and then we've got to check this orange out. So this is the orange, the cannon orange. And just try to make a softer gradient, because this one it's looking very harsh. You can tell where those lines are, and I want them to be just a little bit less. I'm going to try to make it look like this. I don't know if there's too much salvaging the orange on his stomach. I got too happy with that orange marker. But maybe I can just blend them in and blend them out. If I had enough orange pigment over here, maybe it'll work. Maybe my paper has been overworked and it's saying no more. I want no more color on me. I don't know. Bit more orange, come on. Blend with the yellow, you will. At least attempt to blend with the yellow. Try, here we go. If I can soften it up at least just a little bit, I'll be happy. Then go back with the yellow. Keep it up. Okay, so hopefully that's not as bad as it looked prior to, and then add orange back here too. Just to even it out. Because it's not fully yellow, it's just mostly yellow. It's not as orange as the rest of him, so that's okay. And then I'm going to make it a little bit darker inside certain spots, so I'm going to use this to make it darker where I think it should be. So like right here, I think there would be a shadow from his leg. So I'm going to add that, and from his hand too, there should be a shadow. From here. Then also, I think on the bottom, should also be a little bit of shadow there too. And on the side of his leg, just a little bit kind of going like that. A little bit more shadowy shadows. Now, we did his stomach. Let's add the blue to his eyes. Where will this blue be? Thinking. There we go. Now he looks more like Charizard. Yay! Okay, so as long as his eyes look good, then everything else should be okay. From here, I'm going to add more orange. Kind of fill in that patchiness of this orange I had going on right here. Make it look more like a solid color, and then try to figure out where the light would be from it. Because if this is all orange, then this and over here should be lighter. This is where if the light source is here, then this should be lighter. I don't know if this yellow is lighting it up. Let me get out of this. Okay. Oh, I can kind of see it a little bit better if I move my head. Then I'm just going to make it a little bit less patchy. Like my dog. Here we go. And then I'm going to try to just do this. I'm going to add another color, this darker red, to try to make him feel three-dimensional as best I can. Very slowly and steadily, just trying to build up the pigment. Because this is more red, and that other orange was more yellow. So I think here would be where we would see that more yellow, and then even here too, I think you'd see it just a little bit. Even though so no, this isn't really an area where we would expect to see it. We're gonna add more yellow. Just trying to make these colors kind of go together so that it's soft, but you can still see it at least slightly. That would be the ideal thing. And the fire. Just gonna make the red more red, kind of have it come over this part of his tail. And I know that fire is almost translucent, but I don't know how you would make that look translucent. I really don't. It's out, but right there. Add more yellow. Because it is a fire. A fire to be worried about if it touches you. And also if it goes out, I hear that it's very dangerous too. Thanks, Jared, for recommending the Charizard. Okay. Yellow. Now we get to do this. To the rest of his body. So, I'm going to go in with this. I'm going where I believe, well, you know what? I forgot about this color. I'm going to make it even darker over here. Just try to really push the fact that I want him to look 3D as flat as he is on my piece of paper. Maybe it'll look like I cel shaded it much. I guess I did, but a bit different. That works. And then from here, I'm gonna add a little bit more. We get to do the rest of his leg. So let's add a little bit of this. This is where orange, I believe, would be. So this goes where I think it'd be a little bit darker, and just to add more contrast between the different values that we would find if he was a 3D figure standing in front of our face. Then this would be lighter, so we'd add a little bit more yellow there. And he has his toes, which we want to keep nice and white for the camera. He has nice clean toes, nice clean nails. Then yellow, I want to see that here on the side where it would be lighter. I wish I had a white pencil, but I don't. It would be very convenient. A little bit more gray. Right here. And here, because this is darker. It's also a good thing because we shaded with the hue shift, so it should pop more. As much as these colors can physically pop, I will make them pop. Give this a more red in between. This is more of a pink, but I think it works. Then more orange. Everybody's favorite color, 19. Okay, one leg, stomach done. Kind of. I would colored it right. But now we move on to the other leg. So I'll go like this. And I'll do this. And I guess this would also be darker too, down here. So that's where I want the shadow to be. I'm trying to make it lighter. The tip, you know what I could do? I haven't thought about this. But these are in fact colored pencils and they erase just slightly. Not a lot, but enough. I could take something like this and try to lift up the pigment just a little bit. Just enough to make a difference. Don't really think that that pigment's going to lift up enough though, but hey, if it works, and if it doesn't, I tried. Just to lift up enough pigment so that you could actually see the yellow. And I don't think that that worked, but at least I tried. this going down. This, the gray. And a little bit more gray. Now have the rest of him. So let's think about this. There should be light coming from right here. And also right here we would see it. And to contrast light, we must add the darkness, so it would be like right here. A little bit more shadow over here inside of his neck. Over to this side, which we will just generally make darker. So that it's almost like a half and half. Which I understand now that I'm looking at it is not coherent with this. So what else we'll do, we'll make this side dark over here too. Just so that it's a coherent shadow on his body. Even though we have this shadow and they're kind of conflicting, but well, that was just bad planning on my part. But it'll be okay. His face, side of his jaw, under his eye, because he's tired. His nose a little bit. And I think I'm going to make this a little bit darker too. Because I really want to see the contrast from it. And then I do this with our brown, well, it's not a brown, it's a gray. Make it just a little bit darker. Go this way because this is the general shape. And then I'm going to add a little bit more orange. Just to kind of fill in where the marker didn't get it all the way. Or not necessarily do that, but just to help make everything look just a little bit more coherent. I guess I don't need these anymore. We're all done with that. Whoop. And now we get to do his other arm. I almost forgot about his other arm. This side. And this. And then I will have this as a little bit of light. And then I'll make it even darker over here, more orange, more of that rhubarb orange. A little bit of gray. Because I do want to shift the value of that hue and make it darker. That looks good. Now I get to do the wings. So from here, this should be dark right off the bat. It'll be darker. It'll be the darkest closest to the face, but that majority of this should be dark. And that's what I'll make it. It'll come down from out here. We'll do this side. Shadow from the arm, and then there will be almost no shadow on this side because we have the fire over here. So that's going to be shining a bright light. And then also we made this line so thick that it kind of compensates for the lack of hue showing the value that's there because the line art is doing it. Now we add the yellow, which I guess we kind of already added, but I'll just add a little bit more because I really like yellow. It's a very nice color. Then on this side, I will add a little bit more gray. A little more here, and on this, and under there, because this is all a shadow. We have to make that known. And this too, even though it's not a lot, just to push the fact that there is in fact a shadow there. And now I get to do the wings. So, got my green. Just see, that's green. Oh wow. Let me just check these. So this is green, this is green. This green is gonna break on me. Oh no. And this is my almost black. Okay, sweet. So, from here, first thing I'm gonna do is add a little bit of yellow. Right here. Because this is light, we should see it. So, right off the bat, this whole area will be lighter. We're going to use a color to signify that. I even add a little bit of orange because it will still look like the light of the fire. I hope. Which will turn into green against his skin. And then from here, start to darken and add more value to the rest of his wing. This is the dark green. Okay, that is the almost gray. Which one is the lightest value? Okay, so we're going to start off with this one. Starting off by just making it really dark to begin with. Then we can still blend it in so that the colors don't look all patchy, but for the most part, that'll just kind of stay that weird yellow-green. And we're gonna make the rest of his wing much darker so that it looks like it's light. Take a steady hand, continue. Boop. From here, just a little bit more, just because, I mean, it's not going to be like that hard of a shadow. Realistically speaking, I don't think it would be. So we're just going to try to lighten it up a little bit, just the transition between those two very different colors. Now we're going to go a little bit darker. With this color. Oh, broke on me. Don't worry, I have a pencil sharpener. Somewhere. I cannot stand it whenever that happens. Well, I lost my pencil sharpener. Oh, here we go. This pencil sharpener will work, yes. That's still broken. Hope nobody dropped this pencil, or else I would never ever be able to sharpen. I need to stick something in there. Try this. I think it already came out. Yeah, it came out. Okay, that works. Just gonna continue sharpening this. It's a very fine point, but it'll have to do. Okay. So, I'm gonna make this green even darker with this almost forest green. And this is more just adding another hue just to try to really show that his wings are not blue-green, but they lean more towards a very dark green. But we still have the blue there because orange and blue just look good together. And that's why you're going to see them everywhere inside movies. They're just going to be like pairs. They're everywhere. Now, the darkest color we're going to add the most of it furthest away, but I still want to put it over most of these colors that we've already laid down. Because the wing is still much darker. Even whenever there are certain parts of it that are lighter. And right here would be the darkest. The darkest of all the darks, especially whenever you're comparing it to a light source. That is very close. The contrast inside value is like up to 1,000,000 whenever the light source and the shadow are that close together. Or, let me rephrase that. The light source and the shadow are close together because to add that natural contrast and pop inside value that we see in our day-to-day lives. Boop. And a little bit more. I want to make this even darker. And there we go. There's one wing down. One more to go. And then we have to do the tongue. So we're going to start off with blue, and for the most part there'll be almost no light on this other wing. It'll just be mainly dark and a little bit of yellow to pop in to a little bit of contrast. Just like a little bit of yellow along this side. Like barely, and you'll barely be able to see it. Well, this is going to show through more so as light, so you'll see it as a green, but the fact that it's so different from what's already there, it'll just register as light, or at least it should, theoretically speaking. Then we got this side. The wing, we're going to start off with a nice blue. So just make the wing look to have less of the marker patches that we have currently. It's just a nice color to build up our layers and add that blue that the wing needs on top of the green. I'm going to add a little bit more back here because it is darker and I want it to be darker inside all the hues that we see. We're going to see a little bit more here, a bit more there, a bit more there. And we're going to keep that consistent with all the colors. We're going to add more to those very specific spots. Then we're going to use the forest green back here. Be very dark back here. There should be no light. We'll just add more color. Much more. Oh wow, okay, that side is sharp. We need to use the dull side. A little bit more green. I think I'll add a little bit more blue on top of this to kind of mix out that green because it looks very harsh. Darker here, like I'm going to add more green, more, and extra to the back. And go back to the blue. Just try to make them look more harmonious together. They shouldn't be fighting each other, they should be working together to make Charizard's wings look awesome. And simultaneously, those be blending each other out because the wax on top of the wax on top of the wax makes smoother wax. It's actually kind of a fun party trick. And then this looks a bit too harsh here too, so soften it up. Add more dark green because I want this one to be darker. The one prior to. A bit more blue, so I think it should be a bit bluer. Then our darkest hue, which will add more blue to where we need it. And also go over the whole wing too. Especially right here, we're going to see it a lot. It should stand out to us. There is another Charizard wing. Completed. Now, last and least, his tongue. And I'm going to blend out that marker. Not that marker, I'm going to blend out that pencil with a pink marker. Just so that the pigment moves around a little bit. And there you have it. A Charizard. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching.